Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating.
Oh. So this was your high school sweetheart?
Yes, I lost my virginity to him.
This case is already wild. Ms. Hawthorne calls Mr. Brown a smooth-talking deadbeat, while he's over here saying she's a desperate liar. The courtroom is buzzing with what is even happening vibes. Buckle up, it's going to get messier.
Ms. Hawthorne, you are here today because you say your high school sweetheart, Mr. Brown, is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby.
It started sweet, but turned into a train wreck. Ms. Hawthorne says Mr. Brown was her high school sweetheart and first love, but then he started cheating. Just when you think it's predictable, there's a sharp left turn.
This baby isn't mine. I desperately believe that she's emotionally attached to me and she desperately wants to have a family with me.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating. Oh. So I lost my virginity to him.
This drama kicked off with an online high school romance. They chatted for a year before meeting, and now their stories don't even match. The awkwardness is already palpable, and it's only getting started.
We were dating online. That's how we found out about each other.
Oh, so you all met online?
Online, after we started seeing each other, because we were young, we didn't have transportation.
So you met online, you lived in 2 different places.
Yeah.
And you all were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Until you figured out how to meet up.
Yes.
How long after you met online did you meet up?
A year.
Straight out of a teen drama, Mr. Brown went to break up with her, but ended up in the backseat instead. He's all, it just happened, while Ms. Hawthorne thought it was a reunion. The courtroom's collective what says it all.
We was in the car and we ended up getting into a heated moment and both of us started kissing and ended up having sex in the backseat.
We were talking about getting back together, Your Honor.
You told her this is the last time you're gonna see each other. And you said he was trying to figure out how to fix the relationship.
Yes, that's what we talked about.
So you have sex in the back of this car?
Yes.
Ms. Hawthorne waited a day to tell Mr. Brown about Chase's birth, claiming they weren't on good terms. Judge Lake is like, Dad still deserves to know. Cue the frustration for everyone watching.
When Chase was born, do you notify Mr. Brown?
No. We were not on like good speaking terms at the moment.
But this is the father of your child.
Yes.
So speaking terms or not, didn't he deserve to know that the child was about to come into the world?
I notified DeAndre September 24th, so a day right after.
Your Honor, how if the baby is
that don't
born?
make no kind of sense.
Ms. Hawthorne's mom comes in strong, accusing Mr. Brown of neglect. She lists all the ways she supported Chase, while Mr. Brown's been absent. Just when it seems she's said it all, the plot thickens.
Definitely, I believe that he has said it on texts that he has sent, all kinds of proof. He looked just like him. I mean, how can you deny that beautiful baby? I mean, he's gorgeous. To say, no, this is not my child, it's ridiculous. And he's never been there for him. I'm one person can say he's never been there because I do everything for him. I buy his food, I get his milk. I am the father.
The texts are the gotcha moment. Mr. Brown's messages about helping and calling Chase my son make him look guilty. He's backpedaling hard, but things are about to escalate.
You write to him and say, I'm afraid that Chase at this point will not have the Christmas he deserves. Make things right with your son because he didn't ask to be born. He will have a good Christmas, no worries. I'll just start checking periodically on what he needs and deliver it to him. I'm trying my best here. You think I'm happy about not being able to get him gifts on Christmas? I'm not. It hurts me.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
This starts wild, and you're not ready. Judge Lake introduces Hannon vs. Dorsey. Phelan Hannon's figuring out if David Dorsey is her dad after her mom dropped this bombshell before she passed. This is messy, and trust me, it gets messier.
Miss Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, I am not your daddy.
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father.
If you thought your life was dramatic, think again. At 13, Phelan's dad said, not my problem, kid, when she asked him to a daddy-daughter dance. Processing that as a teen? Rough. And it's about to get even crazier.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day for the daddy-daughter dance. Instead of his response being, yes, I'll be there, it was, your mother's still lying to you, not your dad, you need to go find your real dad.
How cruel.
This feels like a movie, but it's real life. On her deathbed, Phelan's mom confessed David Dorsey was her real dad. She admitted she picked the wrong guy. Imagine hearing that before your mom's final moments. David's reaction? Just wait.
My mom, we would have our heart-to-hearts, you know, when she got sick, because she was sick my whole entire life. She would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father.
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Strangers kept mistaking Phelan for Melanie Dorsey, David's daughter. People even called her by that name. Despite the hints, she'd never met David or Melanie until now. Their first meeting, not what you'd expect.
After my mom's passing, I moved away. My grandmother got sick, so I came back. I was actually at work, walking down the hall. She was calling me Melanie, walking down the hall. Melanie, do you hear me talking to you? She got all the way close, and I'm like, ma'am, that's not my name. Melanie, but you're talking about Melanie Dorsey, right? And she's like, yeah. I said, I heard it in high school. I look just like a girl. I need to meet her. It's my sister. We need to find out. And the friend that said it, you know, he approached my mom.
David walks in and says, don't know you or your mom. The audience is shook. The judge isn't buying it, and Phelan's got receipts. It's like a soap opera, and she's just getting started.
She's been told that you are her biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You walked through the doors, you walked right past her, no hug. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
Not really, because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't know her mother?
No.
David's denial is relentless, but Phelan's godmother spills all the tea. She saw David with Phelan's mom back in the day. David denies everything, but the tension is real. Then his daughter enters the scene.
Me and Phelan's mother, Veronica, we work together. Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom, her baby daddy being David. He still looks the same, but he had just got a little heavier.
Your Honor.
You don't remember any of this?
Your Honor, I've never had sex with this woman.
You worked at the fast food restaurant, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Melody, David's daughter, comes in strong, claiming Phelan as her sister. She's heard the rumors, sees the resemblance, and calls out her dad. It's funny, emotional, and awkward all at once.
You know we are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Ms. Hannon.
Yes, I'm here to claim my sister. That's my sister. I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone. He was the man, and like he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the slayer of women. So
Phelan's trying to stay strong, but she just wants closure. David's still in denial, but feels bad for her. The judge is ready for the DNA results, and you'll need to brace yourself for the twist.
Truly, Mr. Dorsey, I can't get much testimony out of you because you honestly don't remember.
No, I don't.
And Ms. Hannon have formed as sisters, you believing and accepting and loving her as a sister.
I don't know about her mother's infidelity. Only thing I know is that Phelan is my sister.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
The case of Webb versus. Cole kicks off with Judge Lake, trying to figure out if Mr. Webb is the dad of Ms. Cole's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. Mr. Webb swears up and down that he's never even been intimate with Ms. Cole. Meanwhile, Ms. Cole is super confident he's the dad and accuses him of lying to protect his relationship.
Mr. Webb, you and your girlfriend say there's no chance whatsoever that you fathered the defendant's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. You say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with past 3 years.
Ms. Cole says she got pregnant with Majestic on April 11th after sleeping with Mr. Webb, but Mr. Webb fires back, saying they've never been intimate and calling her a liar. The courtroom gets loud as Ms. Cole doubles down and Mr. Webb calls her crazy.
I know for a fact the dates line up, and I know he stayed with me for 2 months, and he slept in my bed with me for 1 night, and we had sex April 11th.
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it. I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a week and a half.
Ms. Cole says Mr. Webb stayed at her house for over a week, and during that time, they were, well, more than just friends. She claims her family took care of him the whole time, but Mr. Webb denies it all, saying he was just crashing on the couch. His girlfriend backs him up, and the courtroom is now a mix of yelling, arguing, and side-eyeing.
I wasn't living there. We were hanging out for a week and a half. Right. And on top top of that, April 18th, I had moved back to Detroit. How was I there for 3 months? She had knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. She knows I'm not like that.
I've known him for 7 years and he is not like that at all. And you called me, and you called me with his friend telling me that he was there for 3 weeks and you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first, I did believe that.
He shows texts from Ms. Cole where she admits there's another guy who could be Majestic's dad. But she also says the timing makes Mr. Webb the most likely choice. Mr. Webb isn't having it though. Calling her messages, proof that she's unsure and just making stuff up.
This is how this went, the first message. She messaged me saying, hey, I got an ultrasound. I had said, okay, can we leave it at that, Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life, stay out of my life in the inbox. At this point, I'm thinking, I feel like she's trying to say that I'm the baby daddy, but just hinting, not actually saying it. What came next? I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want this to end. Because I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hateful person.
Ms. Cole shows a calendar with dates marked to prove when she and Mr. Webb were together and when she thinks she got pregnant. But there's one little issue. Her timeline overlaps with another guy she was with. The courtroom is buzzing as people try to figure out if this calendar helps her case or just makes it messier.
In red is the date you were intimate with Mr. Webb, on the 11th of April.
Yeah.
The window of conception is in blue.
Yeah.
So that's the week prior to the 11th. And then Majestic was born on the 28th of January, correct?
Yes.
When were you intimate with the other guy?
May 15th, 16th.
How do you get those two mixed up? That's over a month. How are you gonna say that you think it's him and then over a month?
The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
This case starts wild and gets wilder. Judge Lake introduces Capples versus Harris, where Miss Capples claims Mr. Harris is her 15-month-old son, Jason's dad. Mr. Harris, supported by his girlfriend, denies it and says, let me live my life. Buckle up, it's about to get messier.
You say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend. You and your girlfriend say there is no way you are Jay's father, and once the results are revealed, you want the plaintiff to leave you alone.
Miss Capples admits they weren't a couple, just hooking up after meeting on Facebook. She even made him her man crush Monday, which is awkward now. No love story here, just a messy timeline bombshell waiting to drop.
Me and Mr. Harris started talking. We used to go to high school together. We're Facebook friends. Mr. Harris, I made him my man crush Monday. He's a good guy, hardworking, good father. We messaged back and forth on Facebook for a while. After that, we exchanged numbers, and after that, we started hanging out, getting up, and it just kind of went from there.
Miss Capples brings out a timeline, claiming her conception dates align with being with Mr. Harris. She's got evidence, but Mr. Harris shrugs, saying, I don't remember dates. Then it's revealed he doesn't even know her real name.
As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016. Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May. We started talking around September, Mr. Harris. Like I said, all the way up until the beginning of May. If you go back 9 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it'll bring you to April.
He only knew her as Muffin, which the judge finds shocking. You didn't know her actual name? She asks. Mr. Harris's response? Yeah. Cue cringing as we head to the hospital drama.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summoned him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Mr. Harris skipped the birth, claiming work, and later refused to sign the birth certificate because the baby didn't look like him. Miss Capples was furious, and things got worse when we found out who else was there.
When you came up to the hospital to see the baby, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
Both. I wasn't asked. I had my doubts, and I had been had my doubts.
She wasn't even there for the birth.
I was at work.
So what? Were you at work when she went into labor? Probably, but you were at the hospital, right? Does not matter. That might not even be your baby. And what?
Plot twist. His girlfriend worked at the hospital and was on Miss Capples' floor. Miss Capples says she was messy, while the girlfriend insists she was professional. The judge tries to keep order, but chaos reigns.
What is this about the hospital room, Miss Capples?
She was undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job.
As a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you were the patient.
That's a little too much.
But wait a minute, Miss Cape. You work at the hospital. It was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be. You were assigned to that.
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
You didn't sleep with no one else.
There you go. We good.
This case kicks off wild right away. Ms. Hummel claims Mr. Pack is the dad of her 8-month-old baby, Lola, but he denies it, blaming his girlfriend, Ms. Fuentes. Determined to prove him wrong, Ms. Hummel insists on a DNA test. Meanwhile, Mr. Pack and Ms. Fuentes just want her out of their lives. Buckle up, because this is only the beginning of the chaos.
You claim you were caught in a love triangle with the defendant and his current girlfriend, which has left him denying he fathered your 8-month-old daughter, Lola, for a DNA test to prove that he is her biological father. You and your current girlfriend 100% certain you are not Lola's biological father, and when the results prove it, you want Ms. Hummel out of your life for good.
Hold on to your seats as the court delves into Ms. Fuentes' history. Turns out she's been involved with multiple men from the same family, and she's not denying a thing. The drama intensifies as secrets spill and accusations fly, setting the stage for even more chaos.
She has been known to sleep around while in relationships.
Well, Ms. Fuentes, we hate to bring up the past, but you've appeared in this court.
I have.
Before.
Yep.
You've been in this courtroom. In this particular hearing, you pretty much admitted to the fact that you had had sex with several members of the same family.
Yes.
Ms. Fuentes admits to sleeping with her ex during the crucial time frame her baby Anthony might have been conceived. With no protection involved, the courtroom buzzes with disbelief. The paternity mystery deepens, and tensions rise as everyone scrambles to make sense of the messy timeline.
Well, the way I feel about it is if you've seen my other two kids, they look identical. The one with the man that I slept with, my ex. This baby looks nothing like them. He looks like him.
I wish we could go on looks, but we can't in this courtroom. And the truth is, regardless of what you think, it still doesn't mean anything, because the truth is Mr. Pack just stated in court that he is concerned.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hummel reveals that she and Mr. Pack had been on and off since 2015. When she got pregnant, they broke up because he wouldn't get a job, only for him to move in with Ms. Fuentes 2 days later. She's left pregnant and confused while they argue over who was sleeping where and when.
Your Honor, there is also another 2 guys in the beginning of the relationship before I came that lived in the vicinity where she lived at.
That is wrong. I dated one guy and we had broke up in December and we got back together in January.
That is wrong, because during January to March, we did not have no sexual at all. And the baby is born in November, so that time does not add up.
We were together.
Mr. Pack pulls out a calendar to argue he wasn't with Ms. Hummel during Lola's conception, but she counters, saying he was at her house almost every night. Stories clash, confusion reigns, and the crowd eats up the drama. All eyes are now on the DNA test results to settle the dispute.
He submitted a calendar to the court that outlines why he believes he is not Lola's biological father. So, Mr. Pack, you say that during January, February, and March, you were broken up with Ms. Hummel. You had no sex with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pack, you are the father. I told you.
This case starts wild. A guy named Mr. Jenkins shows up, claiming he's Andrea Bond's long-lost dad. He says he's been looking for her for 24 years, but Andrea's not buying it. Her birth certificate doesn't even list a dad, so she's ready to shut this down.
Mr. Jenkins, you reached out to the court to open a case. You believe that you have a long-lost daughter and hope to one day find her to prove you are her father. So we've located the woman you believe is your daughter, and she's here in court today.
Andrea's story is heartbreaking. Her parents died in a car accident in 1999, leaving her to be raised by relatives. Now she's homeless and raising 2 boys, and the struggle is real. The room shifts big time, and her pain is clear, setting up an emotional case.
He died in a car accident in 1999 with my mother, and I believe that that was my father.
You don't have any information?
No information.
No one's ever told you anything?
No one's ever told me anything.
And Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
You have known about this young woman all her life.
I've been looking for her over 24 years, Your Honor. Me and her mother was in college together. And I'm telling you, she was banging. I mean.
Mr. Jenkins brings out an old ultrasound picture, claiming he was super involved during Andrea's mom's pregnancy. He says he's kept it for 24 years, which is sweet but intense. The court's reactions are split between awe and, wait, is this real?
It's an ultrasound picture that I used to go to the hospital with her.
So when you found out she was pregnant,
I was excited. I said, I got my first child. I got a girl. You know, I was just blown away.
so this
Can't
is
get
an
away.
ultrasound picture of Miss Bond
Yes.
If you
that
got-
you've saved all
Yeah.
these
Over
years.
24 years, I've been saving that picture right there.
Mr. Jenkins' efforts Andrea isn't holding back, asking why he didn't show up sooner if he cared so much. She questions how hard he actually tried to find her. The tension skyrockets, and Mr. Jenkins struggles to explain.
I used to go over one of your family members' house. I used to come over there every Christmas. I used to go there. Kept me out on the porch. I knocked on doors. I like to submit one more thing to the court.
I
Your
have
Honor.
a Facebook page. If you went for social media, you could have found me.
I did everything I could do. I've been looking for you over 24 years. That's one of your numbers that I had contacted.
Mr. Jenkins says Andrea's family blocked him out after her mom died. He claims he left his number and kept trying, but Andrea isn't buying it. The truth feels blurry, and the court's on edge.
I lost contact, like I told you, after people got in her head, took her away from me. I went by there and left my phone number, and Xavier called me. I was excited. I can get my girl, I can see my baby now. I said, well,
You
where
should
are
have
you?
saw me regardless of whether or not she was in another relationship. You shouldn't have let anything get in between you being with her or you seeing me, being around me, raising me.
Mr. Jenkins reveals he's worried about dying without a will after watching Prince's situation. He says he wants to leave everything to Andrea, so he doubled down on finding her. It's a heartfelt moment, but all eyes are on the DNA results.
Not just a while back, you know, music artist Prince had died. He didn't have any estate or nothing to leave any of his stuff to. So the things that I have or the things that I accomplished in life, I like to leave them to my daughter.
And you look at him. Do you see yourself at all? Do you say, I kind of feel like I look like him?
I look more like him to me, in my opinion.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jenkins, you are her father.